I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'd like to thank you all for attending. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the February 3rd meeting. I believe Andrew sent them to everyone. Unless there's any comments or changes, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, any further discussion on that? Andrew, can you call roll, please?
Okay, motion on the floor to approve the February 3rd, 2025 Planning Commission meeting minutes. Dick?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Tyson?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Bryan?
Yep.
Motion carried, minutes approved.
Okay, item number 2 is outdoor display variance. We actually had a motion to put that on the table at the last meeting, and if you guys would like to discuss that again, we will need a motion to remove it from the table to discuss again.
Make a motion.
All right, thank you, Jack. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dick. Andrew, call roll, please.
Okay, motion on the floor to remove the tabled item for outdoor display. Jack?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Tyson?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Bryan?
Yes.
All right, motion carried. Item removed from the table.
Okay, Andrew, do you want to cover anything on that then?
Yes, I would like to note out first that I reached out to the 2 gentlemen that called me for the last meeting, Devin Rummel and Mark Conan. Explained the situation that we approved the outdoor display with the height limit of 5 feet. Told them they would like to put the big red chair out there and they would receive another notice. They both emailed me back and said they have no concerns with the big red chair. Now if you look at the screen here, Bryan Home Center is proposing to put the big red chair be the south side of the pole for the freestanding sign. I went out and measured it. These are accurate dimensions. It will fit underneath the freestanding sign. Will not get into the access drive or access lane. Also went out and got a picture today. This is in my truck looking west. The chair will actually sit right here behind the pole. That's what they're proposing. So should not cause any visibility issues pulling out onto High Street. Other than that, I did not receive any other calls other than the 2 emails I got from the gentleman that I reached out to. So I don't know if anybody from the crowd here is for this one. Mr. Brown?
Sure. Step up to the mic if you would, Dave.
Pardon?
Would you step up to the mic, please, so we can
Sure.
hear you? Thank you.
I'm David Brown, just a concerned citizen, and I'm not concerned about the display. I'm concerned about pedestrians walking along there. When I have put a subdivision in, I have to put sidewalks in. I didn't even realize it until he put the map up, but there's no place for pedestrians to walk now. And it would simply take, just move the parking back so they could walk in front of the parking. But that should be a concern. I realize people don't walk out there, but they don't walk out there because they can't. I guess that's all I need to say.
Yeah, it's the whole block in there, Dave. We've talked about that before. It starts at a whole block east of there, and yeah, there's several blocks there that have absolutely no sidewalk in them, correct? All right, does anyone else from the public have any comments or concerns about this chair? Yes, gentlemen, do we have any concerns or anything else we want to discuss on it, one way or the other?
Brian, what could be the unintended consequences if we would approve this variance and if somebody else comes and wants something? That's the only issue that I have.
I mean, are we setting a precedence? I don't know. That would be something we would have to ask an attorney for. It's, the planning commission here, I think, is more of a case-by-case anyways. We review the case, and we've denied several over time. We've approved several over time of different situations, so I don't really have an answer for you on that. If we would set a precedence or not. I mean, we approved their prior outdoor display. This is just a height.
Right.
You know, we put a height restriction on it before just because we didn't want something big sticking up in the right-of-way that was a vision issue. Had we not put a height display, they would have been okay with the outdoor display on it in theory. But since they're asking for the taller one, I think Mr. Carter had asked we should put this on the table and get some more public comment on it if necessary. And, you know, we recommended they put it behind the sign, which should alleviate a vision issue. So I don't.
Okay.
So I have a couple of, is it a recommendation or a requirement that it goes behind the sign?
I'm going to say requirement, that they're
Okay.
telling us they're going to place it behind the sign.
Okay. And then Andy, I have a question. Did you only contact or mail letters to the two that had reached out, or to everyone that would have been on the list for the first?
No, I emailed everybody, or mailed everybody within 250 feet, and I emailed
Those
Mr.
two?
Rummel and Mr. Conan
Okay.
to give them a heads up, and both responded. They had no concerns.
Thank you for clarifying that. Both of you. I
Okay.
think my only other concern is in the past, we have a no billboard requirement in the city, and we have denied those requests before when businesses have wanted a large billboard. It's whether or not you consider this that kind of advertising. It's not technically a billboard, so it could go either way, but that was one area I was concerned about just in the future.
Okay, well, I guess we'll look for a recommendation either way.
I'll make a motion that we approve the variance for the location of the big red chair behind the existing sign.
Okay. Is there a second for that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion and second on the floor. Andrew, would you call roll, please?
Okay, I got a motion on the floor to approve the location of the big red chair behind the freestanding sign. Dick?
Yes.
Tyson?
Yes.
Mayor?
No.
Bob?
No.
Brian?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
All right, that is the majority, and it is approved.
Okay, thank you. Item 3 on the agenda, rezoning from R2 to C3, 2 lots, 427 and 433 South Main Street, owned by Code 3 Properties. Andrew?
All right, Code 3 Properties, which unfortunately he was not able to make it here today. Purchased 427 and 429, and then 433 South Main. These are both currently houses. He would like to market them as commercial lots, to try to sell. They will remain residential in use. In fact, 433 is in pretty sad shape, and he's planning on fixing that one up. So they'll still be used as residential use, but he wants to market them as commercial. As you can see in the map here, they are contiguous with the C3 zone. I only received one phone call about this request. That was from Philip Wagner. He owns 427 and 433 South Walnut Street, and he thought we were rezoning his property. I explained to him it's South Main Street, and he had no objections, totally understood it. So that was the only call I received on this.
So,
Who's the principal of C3?
What's that?
Who's the principal
of Code 3?
of Code 3.
That's not Tim, is it?
No, it's Dumeyer Dunlap, I believe. I don't have the application. I
Okay.
can't. He owns several other rentals in town. I haven't had any issues with him, so.
So his intention, he bought the properties as an investment, and he wants to potentially sell them as commercial. But in order to sell them as commercial, he needs to have them rezoned as commercial.
Correct.
Okay. And when Walgreens was built, there was some rezoning done as well, correct?
Correct. I believe everything on Walnut Street was R2 when Walgreens came in, and we rezoned it, vacated the alley, all that good stuff, so.
Now, just to refresh everyone else's memory here, we offer a recommendation to city council on whether to rezone this, and then it goes to council for approval, is that correct?
Final approval, yes.
Okay. All right, is there anyone from the public that has concerns or questions or comments regarding a proposed rezoning? Anyone from the board have any questions or comments? No questions, no comments, then I guess.
Are the two properties occupied at the present time?
One, I think.
I believe 427 and 429 is occupied. 433 has been vacant for a while, and that's the
I
one
know it looks,
he's gonna fix up. He already inquired about a second address for it. At one time, it was a duplex. He plans on fixing it up, turning it back into a duplex, so.
sooner the better.
I think he's aware of that. Well, I guess we'll look for a motion either way, gentlemen, if we don't have any other conversation about this. And again, it would be a recommendation to city council to rezone the lots.
I'll make a motion that we recommend.
Okay,
I'll second.
thank you. Any further discussion regarding this? Andrew, call roll when you're ready.
Okay, motion on the floor to recommend to council to rezone 427, 429, and 433 South Main Street from R2 to C3. Bob?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Tyson?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
All right, motion carried. We will recommend that rezone 2 weeks from today at the next council meeting.
And I assume they'll most likely have more than one reading on it, I would hope, but we'll see.
I would assume.
Okay, next item. Item 4, preliminary plat approval, Welling Construction, Inc., Autumn Chase Phase 4. Andrew, feel free to discuss when you're ready.
All right, if you will look at your screens, Mr. Welling is proposing Phase 4 of Autumn Chase subdivision. This would consist of extending Spring Meadow to the north and going around the curve. This would be 11 new lots. We also added in this lot right here because it's currently out in no man's land right now. It's not part of any of the previous subdivisions. So we wanted to get that one added in. Up here in the corner, they are proposing open space, which is required for the PURD. Take you over to a site plan now. Basically just extension of utilities from Spring Meadow straight north. So, the only call I received on this one was from Sharon Bierbauer. Is she present here today?
She's not, but we're all together.
Okay. So, she had a few questions, answered them, then her biggest concern was additional traffic in Spring Meadow. So,
Couple things I want to point out with this. You may be asking yourself, why are we only doing 11 lots and not finishing it? The storm sewer on this phase all goes south through the existing development. It was already pre-designed for that. Everything to the left on Spring Meadow Lane on the west side actually has to run on the west end and go south. So the cost of the infrastructure to get that up there was pretty high right now. They thought they would just finish this phase that had the storm drainage go south and east rather than south and west. We went back and forth on it. Couple comments. You know, we're in the process in the engineering office of reviewing the construction drawings as well, but obviously this is the first phase that we do. You know, he gives us a drawing showing us where the utilities are in the plat, so we're basically we would be approving the subdivision layout. We'll still come back again for a final plat. Couple things I wanted to note on this plat. On lot 51, the southeast corner, we're gonna ask for a 5-foot pedestrian easement through there, potentially because we'd put a handicap ramp to get across the road to the sidewalk there. So that's one thing that we'll address with Mr. Welling at a later date, that we may ask for that there to connect the sidewalk through. And then I wanted to talk with the consulting engineer and the utilities office as well. The current phase of this has the water line up in the front yards. And when we go around the corner on Spring Meadow, I would like to try and get away from it, and run the storm sewer down the middle of the road for the next phase and get the water back in the terrace between the sidewalk and the curb where it belongs. So it's just one thing, Seth, that you and I need to talk about for construction. I think it would be a much better idea to do that. I think it would save money on the storm and everything, but, so it would just be minor changes to the corner there. But it's something I want to address with you during the final construction drawing approval. I just want to make sure no one here had any issue with that. And again, we'll meet with utilities and you on that as well. I guess, Andrew, what else do we need to discuss on that? I know we'll need a stone turnaround, temporary stone turnaround at the end of the pavement, because it's more than 2 dead-end lots. So we'll probably need an access easement for a 90-foot or 100-foot, I believe, stone turnaround?
I believe 90.
90.
So that takes care of my snowplow question. 'Cause
Right,
we
correct.
push the snow into that.
Yeah, if there's more than 2 lots, we have to have, or a certain length, we actually have to have a stone turnaround up there, similar to what we had on Mr. Brown's development off of, I think it was Bristol Lane over there. So just gives the snow plows, garbage trucks a place to turn around. I guess, is there any comments or questions from the public? Jeannie, please step up if you would. We need the microphone, I'm sorry.
I do have a question. The 2 lots right where our current Spring Meadow ends,
Yep,
those are both in Phase 3. So you're getting, everything else is in Phase 1, Phase 2, or Autumn Chase in Phase 2. And then you've got 2 lots in Phase 3, and then the rest of it up there will be 4. And then you've got the house down here by itself that's already built, that you're going to make that a 4.
correct.
And then you're going to go on to another.
5 or 6 or whatever, yeah.
So you're jumping back. So Phase 3 is only going to be 2 homes?
Phase 3 is existing, done, over with, platted, correct.
You
We,
don't-
we had split that last lot off. We had allowed it, the city code allows for up to 4 splits without a subdivision, and it already had road frontage, so we allowed it, but we required that he be included with the next phase, just for platting purposes.
Okay, because that's what I thought you would do with Kimple's house that's out there on the island by itself. I thought you would plat that in as a replat of 3 at least, and keep it grouped together, because it's kind of a tax,
That's,
speaking from past experience.
No, yeah,
A little bit of a
right.
tax mapping nightmare.
but it's, my opinion, it's less paperwork to include it now, because if you have Autumn Chase plat Phase 3, then you do a replat of Phase 3, it's additional
Well,
plats.
I
so-
know, it's more expensive for the builder.
Right, and more confusing maybe for the researchers, too,
Yeah.
if you got a 3 and a 3 replat, so.
Okay, that was my only question about
Right.
why we're not including her with Group 2 or group, phase 2 or phase 3.
Right, yeah, I would just
So-
say because those are already done and filed
Okay.
and over with, and it's just,
Okay.
it's cleaner, I think. It's only one round of paperwork to include that lot with this plat.
Okay, that was my only question.
All right, thank you. Feel free to step up and state your name when you get up here, I'm sorry.
Deb Fortney, I live out in Autumn Chase. This is kind of nitpicky, but I mean, I'm fine with all that. I'm just like, we just had all of our subdivision repaved last year. I'm just concerned when those trucks start coming through to, bring the dirt, bring the gravel, are we going to be okay?
I would think so. I'm hoping there will be a construction entrance off of Portland Street, possibly. Because that
Okay.
street's kind of a truck entrance, so that's one thing that the engineering office will deal with during the
Okay.
construction review.
Because I know that trees got planted along there, so I was just a little nervous
Right.
about that. But, I mean, as long as you fix it, if it gets bad, we're good.
You waited 20 years to get a new road, right? Anyone else? Utilities, Derek, any of your guys have any questions or comments? I know we'll go through the construction review internally, but any major issues? Okay. I guess, Andrew, anything we need to bring up here?
I have a question for Mr. Welling. Is there any plans for that open space in the corner? Okay, I know previous phase you had,
You gotta go to the podium, sir, sorry.
I know the previous phase you had the pond and whatnot. I didn't know if you had any plans for anything up there.
Sean Welling with Welling Construction, no, there are no plans other than grass.
All right, good.
And while you're here, I just want to say thank you because this housing is very important to our community. We're gonna hope.
Which lot are you guys referring to?
The open space would be the northeast corner.
That's gonna be an open lot.
Yeah, that'll be considered open space like you currently have in the middle of the other central area. The PURD zoning requirements require a certain amount of open space to be dedicated for use of the development.
So there will not be a house there?
Right.
No, doesn't that go right to Cardinal? Like Yoder's is on the.
That's
other
right,
side of
yeah,
that.
that's where the big pile of dirt is.
Yeah.
You're right next to Yoder's.
Yeah. Yeah, there will not be a house built right next to Yoder's there. That'll be considered green space or open space.
How many lots are there? Yeah.
11 new.
11 buildable lots. 12 if you count the
12
one that's already existing.
What is that green space? Is it to be used for anything?
It's just common area, kind of like the pond in
I mean,
between
common area for
the whole subdivision.
the sub.
For the PURD, for the original PURD that was approved in 96 or whatever the first year was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because originally, you worked for the county then, I believe. It was one big subdivision plat. It was a general schematic showing, here's the lot layout, here's the open space, here's the requirements that we have that we're going to meet. And then they basically somewhat approved that original layout for a phase development, and then we come back in multiple phases to actually do the final construction drawings. Because, nobody can afford to do, right now, 80 lots out of their pocket in one shot, so we do it over time.
So Spring Meadow Lane will, when it makes that turn, that's where it will stop.
It will turn around, stop, and there will be a stone turnaround, correct, right. Yeah, he is not in this phase connecting it to Portland Street or to Ashley. He's stopping short.
And Sean, Seth, feel free to stop me here, but if you can, kind of hard to see here, but phase 5 would be 11 buildable lots connecting to Ashley here. So there'd be 4 more lots on Spring Meadow, both sides, and then 3 on the west side of Ashley. And then they're proposing more open space behind those houses on Ashley, butting up to that farm field. And then the plan is this, kind of like in the previous subdivision, this center section here would be dedicated for open space as well.
Okay, so just, when we're saying open space, we're talking
Green
no
space.
structures
Right.
of any kind.
Correct.
Well, I mean.
Well, unless you put a gazebo.
Association decide to put a gazebo or a
Right.
little community shelter in there, could they
But it
do
won't-
that?
Yeah, but it won't be a lot for sale.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't afford to do that.
fair. But, yeah, so it will be green space.
Okay.
So there's no detention basins, if that's what you're asking?
Well, I was just, didn't want, we worked and worked and worked on that pond that we had out there, and we finally spent lots of money to dispose of it.
Right.
And I don't want to get in another situation like that, where it becomes an item that's being controlled by the builder, and they're putting things out there that we have to maintain.
Mr.
And
Welling,
spend
or-
money on.
yeah, are you
Yeah,
intending?
Sean
on
said there was no
green
plans.
space?
Green space, yes.
Perfect.
Yep.
Well, that'll answer
Okay.
that for
Yeah,
everybody.
just want to make sure.
And then as far as traffic, I mean, obviously, that's gonna dead end, so the traffic, once you get through construction, because that will bring trucks in, should just be the 11 homes, the residents and visitors there. And even with Ashley, if we get to phase 5 anytime in the near, long term, I do think there's very few people that are gonna take Ashley and come down Spring Meadow because Portland's been expanded, and it just makes more sense to go out Cardinal and Portland. So it should alleviate some of that risk for you guys once they get to phase 5 down the road.
And are these homes going to be built as people come to Mr. Welling and ask for a home? Or are you going to go in and build
That's up to the developer.
several buildings? I mean, I don't know what your plan is,
Well, our plan is to pre-sell the lots and build,
just like. okay,
correct, I don't.
Good, build as you go. You don't want to go out on a limb and,
As of right now, no.
okay,
Could
okay,
change, but
yeah,
there's no plans for putting a spec house up,
okay,
okay?
yeah,
So if you have friends that want to move to your neighborhood, they can reach out to Mr. Welling.
yeah.
And we are considering summer to fall construction, correct, Mr. Welling?
Yes.
Okay, good, just making sure that's good. Okay, does anybody else have any questions or comments on this? And again, it's, the final construction plans get approved through our office, and they will come back for a final subdivision plat. This is just approving the preliminary layout.
We should have known it's gonna come at some day, so.
Right, oh, absolutely, yeah, it was part of the original plan.
I'll make a motion that we approve the preliminary plat approval.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Carter. Is there a second? Thank you, Jack. Any further discussion?
Jack and Dick at the same time.
We will call roll, Andrew.
All right, motion on the floor to approve the preliminary plat. Bob?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Tyson?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
All right, motion carried, preliminary plat approved.
Okay, Andrew, do you have anything further or any possibilities for next month's meeting?
At this time, I have nothing, I believe. Oh, no, we should have possibly site development plan review for the new health department building up on Bruner Carter. So,
To get the plans to us, okay?
so I will get with them and see if next month works.
Sounds like we're gonna start meeting more often.
Sounds
Yeah,
like.
sounds like.
Okay, if there's nothing further, then we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Andrew?
Motion on the floor to adjourn. Dick?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Tyson? Yes. Bob?
Yes.
Brian?
Yep.
Jack?
Yes.
All right, motion carried, meeting adjourned.